Good morning, everyone. Good late morning on this April the 4th, 4-4. Yeah, April 4th. It's a Friday morning. Hopefully, everyone is having a good day. Now, we have had a lot of rain. We have flood watches now expanded across the area, and flood warnings are in effect for ongoing flooding across our area. So let's get right into it here, and I'll walk you through the weekend, let you know what to expect. Some kind of crazy temperature swings coming this way this upcoming weekend. You're going to be pulling all kind of outfits out of your closet this weekend and early next week. I'll show you that in a second. 48-hour rainfall, all nearly 2 inches of rain over the past 2 days has fallen. And we're sort of in the middle of this stretch of soggy weather with the second half coming our way into the weekend. We could double that amount in some places, at least another inch on top of that, maybe as much as 2 in some areas through the upcoming weekend is what it looks like. So the forecast from earlier in the week of 2 to 4 inches total from the system seems to be pretty good. So that's a look at 48-hour rainfall. Of course, we needed the rain. We had a deficit for the year of over 3 inches. So we're putting a huge dent. We're going to race that rainfall deficit for the year here with these systems. So I didn't realize I had all this mess on here, but there you can see some of the different flood warnings. It was a mess kind of to keep track of all these flood reports, and all those little green dots you see is where there was reports of flooding in Grave Creek in Marshall County and in Bethany, Pine Grove, a lot of areas here. There were reports of flooding. These are only the reports that came on in from the National Weather Service. In terms of wet weather, again, expecting that break in the rain through a good part of the day, at least anything of a significance. There are some sprinkles out there in Belmont County right now, and around Mountainsville, also a couple down near Tyler County, but there's nothing too heavy when it comes to the rain at the current time. And I expect it to stay that way through much of the day. Now, later this afternoon, there will be some rain showers moving back into the area as we head towards this evening. So let's expand the view a little bit. So the front that's going back and forth that's causing all this weather, it's basically stationary, but it is dropping to the south of us and then lifting back north as a warm front. So today it's cooler because the front is to our south. So you can see the area of rain that we had last night now south of the area affecting southern West Virginia and Kentucky. What's going to happen is it's going to lift back north as a warm front. So this part is going to lift back into our area here as we slide into later on today, and then later tonight and tomorrow we'll see some of this rain, and it could be some thunderstorms as well with it as we head into Saturday. So Saturday would be the day in which we could have some thunderstorms around. Don't really anticipate any thunderstorms tonight. I don't anticipate any thunderstorms on Sunday, but the one day in which there could be would be as we head into Saturday. And there's the severe weather outlook for Saturday, a little higher when it comes to severe weather Saturday to our south and west towards southwestern Ohio. But one thing we'll have to keep an eye out for Saturday, if the sun were to come out in the afternoon, that would really cause the atmosphere to destabilize. I think if it stays just overcast all day, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of severe weather threats. But if the sun could somehow, come out for several hours, that could be a game changer when it comes to Sunday, and that could, cause those severe weather threats to increase. So you look at what is going on right now. The flood warnings are in effect for those areas that you see in the light green, and that is basically from portions of Brooke County onto Ohio County, Marshall, Belmont, Monroe. A lot of the southern half of the viewing area, to be honest with you, is under a flood warning. What does that mean? It means flooding is occurring in these areas. It has been occurring. There are roads that are closed in these areas because of high water. Nothing too serious in terms of flooding, but nonetheless, there are some roads closed because of streams and creeks out of their banks. The dark shading is the flood watch, and that encompasses much of the area. That goes through the weekend. So when you think of watches and warnings, think of them in this way, that with a watch and a warning. Think of it, like is you're baking like cookies or cupcakes, okay? You have all the ingredients. You went to the store, you got all the ingredients, okay? That's a watch. So whether it's a flood watch, a tornado watch, a severe thunderstorm watch, a watch means I got all the ingredients to make cupcakes. I don't have cupcakes. I don't have chocolate chip cookies yet. You mix all those ingredients together, you put it in the oven, they come out. that's a warning. Okay, you have your cupcakes, you have your cookies. I see that's it's happening. It's either imminent, about to happen, or it is happening. So still a lot of it's amazing to me. I guess I work in the weather industry, so I know these terms, and sometimes I take for granted that everyone knows these terms, but not everybody does know the difference between a watch and a warning. So just remember that, and maybe an analogy there to help you remember that the ingredients, watch, warning, it's happening or about to happen. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now in terms of our watches and warnings across our area. And let's take a look at the river. Current river stage around 21.2 feet. Actually, I think it went up a little bit since the last time I changed it. But anyhow, it is 3.6 feet above yesterday. So this is the 24-hour change compared to yesterday. You can see the Wheelings Heritage Port there, the waterfront area. As this river will keep on climbing. It'll get up to around 29, 30 feet here into Monday. So it's starting to get underwater, some of those lower steps there near the river. But as of right now, as of the latest forecast, it is not expected to flood. I say that as of now. I urge you to check back. Still fairly confident because these levels are only getting up to around 27, 29, 30, 31 feet, which is below flood stage at all these locations. But if we were to get a little bit more rain than we are expecting, these values could go up. Again, I was talking about yesterday, the one thing that's in our favor is that the heaviest rainfall is occurring to our south and west. When the heaviest rain falls to our east in the Monongahela or Allegheny River Basin that flows into the Ohio at Pittsburgh, that's when we have a lot of problems. When the heaviest rain falls to our west and southwest, like it is in this case, that helps. There are going to be lower amounts to our east than even what we are receiving. So it's not necessarily, sometimes we think of the amount of rain that falls on top of our heads for the river basin, but we have to think about where the water is coming from. It's coming from the Allegheny and the Monongahela rivers. So it's more so what falls on those basins that affects the Ohio River. I mean, some of it is what falls here, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it is what's upstream that's coming our way that affects the rivers. So again, check back for updates this upcoming weekend. You'll get your 24-hour temperature changes. A lot colder than yesterday. Readings are 17 degrees colder than this time yesterday. Current temperatures are hanging out in the low 50s. Remember yesterday we got up to around 70, 71 degrees, I think. So it is a lot colder than it was yesterday. And that's because the front is to our south. Look at the temperatures. They're going to bounce around like, this looks like the lottery right here, or bingo balls or something. I don't know. 50s today, 70s tomorrow, 40s Sunday, 50s Monday afternoon, 20s Tuesday morning, upper 30s Tuesday afternoon. Here's another breakdown riding the roller coaster. Look at this. This afternoon, upper 50s. 3 p.m. Saturday, 74. 5 p.m. Saturday, 42, 7 a.m. Tuesday, 27. And so we're literally going to be grabbing different items out of our closet there to address over the next several days with this weather. Let's see. Renee was asking about the severe weather for Saturday. Renee, we're going to get to that. I did mention if the sun were to come out, that could be an issue. But if it stays overcast, then that may not really be too big of an issue. But let's take a look. If we are going to have any storms, it would be Saturday. And I think it could come in 2 rounds. And this futurecast is going to show us this. So any rain early this afternoon is kind of spotty light nuisance. Okay. Even 3 p.m., not a whole lot of rain. But as we get towards 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, here comes an area of rain. Nothing too heavy with this area of rain, okay? And there's not going to be any thunder with it. Now, as we slide into the evening, there will be a break. And then later tonight, this is when the warm front will be approaching. And notice the Futurecast product here is displaying a lot of the storms here a little bit to our north at 2 a.m. and northwest. Not much locally. There can be a little bit here at 3 o'clock and then into the morning hours. So we could hear some thunder. I'm not too concerned about severe weather with that line Saturday morning. Could there be some loud thunder late tonight, early tomorrow morning? Yeah, but I'm not too, maybe a little bit of hail, but I'm not too concerned about severe weather with that. Then we get into a break. Here's the question I have. If the sun comes out for several hours, I would be more concerned for later in the day. And I think that's where you'd have to be a little mindful. If it stays overcast tomorrow and kind of showery at times like this is projecting, there could be some thunderstorms around, but I don't think they're going to be packing too much of a punch. But that'll be something to watch out for. But you can see late in the afternoon, dinner time, if we are going to see a stronger storm, I think that's when it's going to be with the cold front. So the warm front sends us back up in the 70s tomorrow, and then the cold front approaches, and then there'll be some showers and storms right into Saturday evening. And then after that, no more thunder on Sunday. We'll just generally be dealing with some spotty light rain. And I want to show you this latest on Futurecast here. Well, this latest run doesn't show. The earlier run did, but it is possible we could actually have some snowflakes mixing in here as we head into Sunday evening. The rain Sunday doesn't look all that heavy. So you look at the amounts of rain, and I think we're going to get between another 1 to 2 inches of rain. Notice some of these locations may not see upwards of 1 inch. And so, Ohio County Airport, for example, they've had roughly 2 inches of rain thus far. We could add maybe another inch to it and get up to around 3 inches, which would erase our rainfall precipitation deficit for the year, which would be a good thing, and hopefully not cause too many water issues. But that's a look at additional rainfall through Sunday. And again, if we're going to see some heavier rain, it's going to occur at times Saturday, not so much Sunday. Sunday's rain looks pretty light. Then we'll watch a system coming out of the Great Lakes that's going to produce. Now, Monday's going to be a nice day. The sun will be out, a little cool, but then Monday night, early Tuesday mornings, we'll have some snow showers from that system rolling on through. So kind of wacky. After that, I think things start to settle down. We'll be in the 50s Wednesday with sunshine. A couple cold mornings next week. Want to point that out. Tuesday morning, 27. Wednesday morning, 26 degrees. Wednesday will be mostly sunny. And then we'll have a system that'll bring light showers Thursday, Friday, mid to upper 50s. Nothing that screams warm weather next week. Maybe getting a little warmer towards next Sunday with a high of 62. But there you can see in the near term, lots of bouncing around. 50s today, 70s tomorrow, 40s Sunday. And then, maybe some snow showers. Small chance it could end to some snow showers, snow Sunday evening. And then probably a better chance we'll see some snow showers late Monday night, Tuesday morning with that system diving through. So a separate system. So there it is. There's the weather. Let's see. And Todd says, thank you for all your info here in New Philadelphia. You're welcome, Todd. Hopefully you have a good weekend. So for those of you that are tuning in, I'll just do a quick little recap because I know people jump on this thing and at different times versus, when I started and etc. We have picked up nearly 2 inches of rain thus far, at least at Ohio County Airport over the past 2 days, 48 hours. You look at some of the flooding reports. I should clean this map up a little bit. I have a mess going on there, but again, it is a bit of a mess. But all those reports are where those green dots is where flooding has been reported to the National Weather Service by emergency management. So there's streams and creeks, nothing major, but there are banks and they're causing some road closures. For that reason, there are some flood warnings. In fact, the rain that you're seeing right now in Belmont County, Marshall County, Moundsville, around Wheeling, maybe St. Clairsville, is very, very light, nothing heavy at all. And I expect it to be rather dry until we get to later this afternoon. There are flood warnings in effect for a lot of areas, that light shading of green. Flood watch is in effect for a lot of the area through the weekend. The Ohio River is continuing to rise. It's up about 3.5 feet compared to yesterday at this time. Current stage at Wheeling's 21.2 feet. And it is expected to crest at around 30 feet or just shy of 30 feet in areas Monday evening. So that's the highest Monday evening, and then it'll recede after that. As of right now, there is no flooding anticipated along the Ohio River, but I urge you to check back for updates on that forecast. As that can change. Terry's asking, are there any days with high winds this week? Terry, to be honest with you, I've been so focused on rain and everything else and the temperatures, I haven't looked a whole lot of nothing's at screaming high winds. It's springtime. There's going to be some gusty winds at times. So don't get me wrong, but nothing that's, jumping out. That's going to be like one of those 40, 50 mile per hour wind gust kind of days as I see it right now. At least the next couple of days. I'm sure there could be some gusty winds as we head into tomorrow with the warm front. Trying to get looking at the looking at information now while I'm trying to talk here. So bear with me on that one. But nothing too crazy, I don't think. If you were to get a stronger one, it would be in a thunderstorm on Saturday. But I would think your wind gusts probably going to be around 25, 30 miles per hour tomorrow, if that. Probably around 20 miles per hour on Saturday. So that's not too bad. As you head into Monday night, Tuesday, there could be some gusty winds with that system coming through, a little clipper, so that could pick up the winds. But in the near term, nothing too high, unless a thunderstorm were to deliver a localized higher wind gust. So it is colder out there, as I mentioned, than it was yesterday. And let's see. Terry says, wow, crazy. Leave it up to you to give us this weird forecast. Leave it up to me. It always cracks me up. I feel like people how they blame me for the weather and stuff. It's just, I don't know why that cracks me up.
I mean,
I have control over the weather. It's spring, Terry. It's spring. That's what happens in spring. So there you go. Yeah, it is wacky because we're going from 50s to 70s, 40s. I also love when people like to put in orders for forecasts. That's always like this is a drive-through window or something. I want it sunny and 75. Yeah, so do I. But that's life. It doesn't happen. Okay, so here's what we're getting. That wacky weather. 50s Friday. Today's cooler. Tomorrow's much warmer, 70s. And then Sunday, we're going to be in the 40s, chilly. And then down to the 20s Monday morning and Tuesday morning. So, yeah, crazy. And Terry says, I got to give you a hard time sometimes. There you go. All the time. Terry's always giving me a hard time. I'm kidding. Hi, Dan. Thanks. Hey, Dan, thanks for all your photos. Thank you for Dan. Dan submits some great photos. You tune into News 9 Sunrise for our Photo of the Day segment. He is one of of our regulars, and he submits some fantastic photos. I just realized that when I put the comments up, it covers up my little face here. And I need to move that around. Oh, well.
Greg, can you just talk about a little bit of
getting back to things real quick, because I got to get back into the weather center. But I'll walk you through the weekend again for those of you just tuning in. So, outside of a couple of spritzes here around I-70 early this afternoon, there's not a lot of rain today until we get to later today. And if you're headed to the home opener in Pittsburgh, first pitch is 412. I think they're doing that for 412, the area code in Pittsburgh. It'll be dry to start. They'll get the game started. There will be some rain. Notice this rain coming into our area here around 5, 6, 7 o'clock. So they will probably, if you're going to the game, you'll see a little bit of wet weather probably later in the game, 6, 7 o'clock time frame. But I do think they'll get that game in against the Yankees and their tomahawk bats or something like that, which cracks me up. They call them Tom. I think they call them tomahawk bats. To me, they remind me of those little Tykes bat when I used, little Tykes bats when you were like a little toddler and you had that big barrel. This is like some new, I don't know. I had one of those when I was a kid, how many moons ago? So, but they were plastic, of course. These are wood. Okay, so nothing severe when it comes to rain or thunderstorms through this evening. In fact, after that little swath comes through 5 to 7, I think it's dry. And then we'll have to wait till later at night. That's when there could be a thunder boomer after midnight. Not too concerned about severe weather, but this could wake you up maybe in a few spots. Notice how a lot of that may stay to our northwest. And then we could get a little bit of rain Saturday morning. Now, there will be some breaks Saturday if we break out with sun. And I'm talking not just like a peak of sun. I'm talking about if we could break out with sun for like several hours, I would start to be a little bit more concerned about severe weather into Saturday afternoon and evening. If we stay rather overcast and some passing showers, it shouldn't be too bad. But there could be a strong storm during the evening. This line of Futurecast here does try to roll something through here between 8 and 10 p.m. Saturday, and that would be with a cold front. So there could be some gusty winds along that. And then as we slide into Sunday, any rain is going to be light, and it's going to be a lot colder with these temperatures kind of hang out in the low 40s Sunday. And notice there's not a whole lot of rain there Sunday. Small chance on Sunday that it actually ends as a little bit of snow late in the afternoon and evening. And there's a look at rainfall, additional rainfall. Again, we picked upwards of 2 inches, another 1 to 2 inches. A lot of us more so 1 inch of additional rain, but maybe somebody picks up a little bit more in a thunderstorm. That's through Sunday. A lot of that is coming Saturday, later tonight into Saturday. So nothing too excessive, but we have seen 2 inches of rain in the past 2 days. Here's a look at Futurecast. In the long range, we are going to see a system dive in. Monday will be a nice sunny day, and then Monday night you can see how the system, maybe a little bit of rain, but it's probably just mainly snow sweeping through later Monday night into Tuesday morning. And there's look at your 9+1 day, bouncing around, up and down we go. Springtime, gotta love it. Upper 50s today, 70s tomorrow, 40s Sunday, 50s Monday, with snow at night Monday night, and then a leftover flake Tuesday. Could be some gusty winds Monday night, Tuesday, and then kind of quiet Wednesday. A weaker system, not a lot of moisture, but light showers Thursday, Friday, and kind of cool next week. 50s with the exception of Tuesday, where we'll be in the 30s, upper 30s. And let's see. Frank says he's listening to me from South Carolina, headed St. Clairsville, home of the crazy weather. Yeah, it's been crazy. Of course, South Carolina's been seeing their fair share of crazy. Well, they I don't know weather, but they had a lot of fires in South Carolina. They needed some rains. I do believe they did get some rain a week or so ago. So, but yeah, it's been kind of crazy everywhere. And as crazy as it is here, it is actually a lot worse in some other sections of the country where they are experiencing more in the way of severe weather, tornadoes, and real bad. So far, flooding hasn't been all that bad, but there are some sections of the country which has really been seeing some nasty weather here, and I can show you that here a little bit here. Let's expand that and pop up the where are we? Here we are. So this part of the country here, St. Louis, the lower Ohio River Valley, this area here has been really hit hard with some nasty weather. Well, we've been seeing some crazy weather here too, but thankfully hasn't been nearly as bad as EF3 tornadoes and everything like that here. And this is also the area where they're seeing the very heavy rain pile up and lots of flooding, and it continues in these areas. I mean, we're picking up 2, 3, maybe 4 over a 4 or 5 day stretch, where some of these areas I have highlighted here are picking up 6, 10 inches of rain over that stretch of weather. So it's crazy. It's springtime. That's when the weather is crazy. When typically in the summertime, the weather quiets down, jet stream vacations to the north, and things are a lot quieter in the summertime because of that. And you get your pop-up storms in the summer, but they're less organized typically, and it's not quite as crazy. It just stays warm. So we'll get there. We've got to climb through the early to mid sections of spring, later sections of spring. I'm sure things will start to get better. And as we head towards summer, our weather will start to improve. But it has been very active of late, that's for sure. Well, have a safe trip back, Frank, if you're still listening, back to St. Clairsville from South Carolina. Bring back some of that pimento dip. That's good stuff. South Carolina. Oh, that's good. Go to Hilton Head or, get Myrtle Beach, get some of that pimento dip. You can get it around here now anymore, but I think it tastes a little better down there. Everything tastes better at the beach, right? Okay. I got to get ready for midday, so I'm going to say bye-bye. Have a great weekend, everyone. Amanda will be in this evening. She's also going to be in here this weekend, so she's going to keep you updated on the weather conditions. Anything warrants, we'll definitely let you know. But have a good weekend, and I'll see you at noon. And if I miss you then, I'll see you Monday morning.